Okay, welcome to our call tonight, guys. I'm so excited to have Stephanie join us. Just going to go through a couple quick announcements and some recognition really quick. Um, First of all, I want to congratulate Keisha for a Success Club 10 All-Star. It's her 1-year anniversary as a coach this month. We all know the rock star that Keisha is, so I want to congratulate her. Make sure that you tell her congratulations. In some way today, she's helped a lot of people in the last year. We have several names actually on the board for Success Club this month. And I'm not going to go over the numbers. I'm just going to mention the names because you guys have all helped people. Denise Jarbo, Sarah Roberts, Tamsin Newman, Taryn Hobbs, Keisha Roberts, Scott Barbie, Julie Simon, Jenny Neville, Natalie Davis, Keela Prater, and Brad Reynolds, all on the board for Success Club this month. So that's awesome job, guys. You guys are all helping to change lives, which is what this is all about. So I'm going to let Stephanie have it, but I wanted to just introduce Stephanie. And she is a part of our team on Stronger for Tomorrow. I don't know if you guys have probably seen her face around. But Stephanie is a 5-star Diamond Elite Coach in 2015. She is a Success Club legend. She has 35 months in a Success Club, which is very impressive. And she is an ER doctor. And so we are so excited to have her on. Keisha and I got to spend some time with her in New Orleans and with her and Luke, and we just love them both. And so we're just so excited to have her share and just soak up the knowledge that she's going to share with us tonight.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys. I am so excited to be here on your call. I absolutely love doing team calls for other teams. I just think it's just really awesome that, just the fact that there are so many people out there in our network that are very giving. And so I actually met Mandy, like she said, in New Orleans, and we were roommates. It was like dual roommates, me and my boyfriend and her husband. And we were roommates in the same room, and it was awesome in a good way. It was just awesome. And so I'm going to go ahead and share. I want to just get a quick, how many of you are a new coach, brand new coach, or just coach, or coach rank, I should say, coach rank? How many of you are emerald, between emerald and diamond? And then diamond coach, and then diamond and above probably. But okay, awesome. So my topic is going to be I'm going to share a little bit about my story, and then it's going to be centered around mindset. That's kind of my passion. Speaking about mindset, I think it's super important, especially how things have been over the past couple months in the network, and especially just gearing up into Summit for those of us going to Summit. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Or see my PowerPoint? So I'm going to go ahead and play it. All right, awesome. So success lies within your mindset is the topic for today. And so this is me. The starting point of all achievement is desire. And so when I wanted to, my journey started with one simple desire, and that was to get in shape and to have natural energy. And so this was me in July of 2013. And I was smack in the middle of my residency. And so like Mandy was saying, I'm an emergency medicine physician. I just finished my residency last summer, and this is entering my 3rd year as a Beachbody coach. So that means I went through almost 2 years of building my business as a resident. And if you don't know anything about that, that is a ridiculously hard schedule. That's working 60 to 70 hours a week, working days, evenings, overnights, all in the same week. And so just kind of giving you that mind frame. And so I was tired, I was overweight, and this was in July of 2013. And I was looking for a solution that didn't require me to be injecting caffeine into my veins. I'm that person that was drinking quadruple shots of espresso to stay awake. I was overweight. I mean, obviously I'm tall, so my body, it kind of like distributes well in my body. I'm of Latin descent, so I have hips and curves and everything that comes with that. But at this time I was feeling really tired, and I had a closet full of clothes that did not fit me. So I don't know if any of you could relate to that, having clothes that don't fit you. And I had amazing jeans that did not fit me, and they were expensive jeans that I spent a lot of money on, and I was pissed off, and I was upset. I was just emotionally upset. I was living by the scale. And I speak to this a lot because I know a lot of women live by the scale. And what I mean by that is you step on a scale every single day, and this is what I was doing. And that number on the scale would show me how I was feeling for that day. Like it would really I would step on it in the morning, and if it was up 2-3 pounds, I felt really crappy about myself, right? And I know many of you have done it before, and I know many of you have maybe people that you're helping who do that now, but I'm just giving you an idea of where my mind was. And as you can see, I have a picture of me here when I was a child. I was overweight, so I've always battled my weight. I was overweight in grade school, overweight in high school, overweight in college, always this up and down kind of weight, never happy with my body. And so when I decided to become a coach, it had come around this, like I said, around this time. And I remember I would come home and I would scroll through my Facebook, and I would sit on my couch and I would scroll through Instagram, and I would see these girls who had these before and afters. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like these girls are inspiring, they're motivating. I realized that I wanted to do that as well. I had no clue how to do that. And I didn't even know about Beachbody. And so I remember that around this time, I had tried Insanity. And I was someone that I used to actually work out a lot. I was that person who would be on the elliptical machine with my US Weekly magazine, on the elliptical machine, watching, the Food Network at HGTV for like an hour. And that was my cardio. And I thought I was doing really good, right? But I love food. I still love food. It is my guilty pleasure, and I love sweets. And so it was just not adding up, and I was still gaining weight. And so we tried Insanity, and we got like the bootleg version of Insanity. Luke had it like from a friend who then like got it copied from someone else. And so we tried Insanity, and I put it in day one, and oh my God, I almost died. Like I was like, I couldn't do burpees. I couldn't do the push-ups. I was like, this is hard. And I remember that it was like soul crushing for me. And I was like, man, this is really, really hard. And so I gave it like C effort, B effort, for the 7 weeks. And then I didn't make it to the 8th week, but Luke did it with me, my boyfriend Luke. And so he really did really well. And I remember seeing the Shakeology stuff on it. Like it was still like the regular DVD, like the copied version of the DVD. And so we would see the Shakeology. So anyway, so I remember thinking, oh, wow, I kind of want to try that. But you know what? I don't know anyone who does this. And like, mind you, I was always on social media looking, and I was always on my Instagram looking, and I was like oblivious to the Beachbody world. And I did not know anyone who was a coach. And so when at that time, many of you, I don't know if you guys remember, T25 had just come out. And I was like, okay, this is 25 minutes. I love Shaun T. I just don't like 50-minute workouts, but maybe I can do this. Let me try this. And I remember at that time I had started posting a picture of like my food, like very sporadically. And then all of a sudden, this girl that I don't even know randomly came up to me and had said, you should become a coach. Would you be interested in joining my group? And literally, guys, I thought that like God was talking to me. Like I thought that was the validation that I needed. And this girl didn't know me from no one. Like she didn't know me. I didn't know her. Like she just popped up. She just asked me. And I was like, yes. I was like your easy sale. I was like, okay, where do I sign? Let's sign up. I want to sign up as a discount coach. And I've always been a dreamer. I'm someone ever since I was a child. I mean, and I'm someone that when I commit to something, if it's something that's genuinely in my heart, I commit 150%. I don't half-ass anything. And so I commit 150%. And so when I committed to this, I was like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do this. And that desire started to kind of stir in my heart. And like I said, I put my picture here of my graduation day from medical school just to kind of show that I'm very committed to my dreams. I did 12 years, $300,000 into debt, becoming a physician. And I will tell you that despite all of that time and all of that going into debt, I found myself working without passion. And I know that's crazy to think that, I know it's crazy to think that I would go to schools for that long. This is something I had been dreaming about since I was a child, and I had reached this huge accomplishment, and I was like, is this it? Like, it was like I reached it and I was like, great, I'm really glad I reached it, but what else is there? And so I put together this collage to show kind of my journey and what it means to me, to be a Beachbody coach. And so that's Luke at the top, and he did Insanity with me, and he was borderline hypertensive. He was thin. He was a dancer. He used to eat Taco Bell and all this horrible food, and he was always thin. And his blood pressure was high. And so after Insanity, his blood pressure went down by 20 points, and I was super happy about that. And that really solidified, granted, I know that workout programs work, but that really solidified just in my eyes that these programs really do work. And so when I got T25 in my hands, like I said I was going to commit 100%. And so that's my before and after with T25, 8 weeks of T25 and Shakeology. And from day one, I was super transparent on my journey. And I think that's incredibly important to say, because I was that coach that came in and hit the floor running. And I know that's pretty atypical for a lot of people, but I'm kind of giving you clues as to why I think that was. And I think the biggest one was that I was 150% committed to my program, committed to drinking Shakeology, our vital behaviors, and I was committed to being super transparent on social media. And I was that coach who never used to post. I never posted on social media. And so I went from never posting to posting like this overnight. And I went to posting like 2 to 3 times a day consistently. And I had a following. I had just opened up my Instagram. I had like 150 people who followed me who were like friends. And then I had about 1,000 friends on Facebook. And I know that's a lot for some people, but those were all my colleagues, my high school, med school, college colleagues. And so I started sharing. And little by little, people started saying, what in the world are you doing? Like, you're a freaking resident. And like, how are you having time to work out? People from work were following me. And so you can see I had that transparency, and they were seeing my passion. Even when I didn't know what in the world I was doing, like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was genuinely excited. I was genuinely like, this fire lit within me. And that's why I have the picture there of me smiling, because that fire that I had been seeking for so long, that I would watch Luke, who like I said, is a dancer, how he would just practice for hours and hours and hours. And I'm like, how the hell can you practice for hours and hours and hours and not take a break? And it's because he's passionate about that. And so when this came in, that excitement, I let that excitement fuel me. I remember staying up till like 3:30 in the morning, having to get up at like 7 a.m. because I was just genuinely excited. I was like, oh my goodness, like imagine the impact. Imagine I can create this social media kind of, platform. Imagine the people I can help. All of a sudden I started dreaming again, and I had not had that, really in a long time. And so I wanted to show 2 girls from my team in the bottom left, because I have grown my team on social media. I have not grown a team around me. Not that that's bad. I actually wish I had more people around me. But I'm just saying that if you're someone that you're like, oh, I live in a small town and everybody around me doesn't, no one knows me, or, my whole town is filled with Beachbody coaches, or just knowing that the internet is huge, and our ability to connect with people is so great at this point in time, honestly. And so 2 of those girls, Sophie and Ashley, they're honestly like my closest friends now. And I think for me, Beachbody has brought such amazing people into my life. And I think that's, apart from personal development, which I think is the number 1 gold, like, about this business, number 2 are the relationships, are the people that come into your life, the like-minded individuals. And notice I said number 1 was personal development, number 2 was relationships, and then everything else is after that. Those are kind of the biggest things about our business. And so the other last 2 things before I go into kind of my topic is that a lot of people ask me why I decided to go into network marketing, why I make good money. I was on a great path. I was in a really flexible, and it was because of this. So right after these 2 pictures, one was taken in China, in the Great Wall of China, and then the other one was taken on a safari that I was on in the Serengeti in Africa. And this was in August of last year, right after I finished my residency. And because of the Beachbody income that I had been able to create and build over those 2 years, I was able to postpone taking a full-time job for 4 months And last August, I was able to go on an around the world trip. And when I was in China, I went on my tour, and at night I worked my business. When I was in Africa, I went on my tour, and at night I worked my business. When I was in Turkey, I worked my business. When I was in the Maldives, I worked my business. And guys, that is why I do this personally. I do this because I can work this from anywhere in the world, and nothing can give me that type of freedom. And I am a traveler at heart. I'm the person, and granted, I know not everyone wants to travel, but I'm a traveler at heart. If I could be traveling every month, I would, because I just love to be on the go. I love to be seeing the world. There's so much of the world to see. And so just giving you some ideas of why, I've just really delved so much into this. And so to change your life, you have to change yourself. And to change yourself, you have to change your mindset. So guys, this business is hard, okay? It is incredibly, incredibly hard. And it is challenging. So when you're saying you're overwhelmed, when you're saying you're struggling, change those words to this is challenging, okay? Because challenges can be overcome, right? And so, but you have to make sure that you are equipped with the right mindset so that you can push through those challenges, as well as be doing this business for the right reason. And so I want to start by asking you, by just kind of telling you guys, or just sharing with you, that my personal mantra is life begins one step out of your comfort zone. I tell that to my team. It's written on my bag, on my t-shirts, because I genuinely believe that. I feel like as humans, we should always be growing. I feel like so many people stop reading after they finish college, or, and they never continue to grow. It's like at the age of 21, 22, you all of a sudden know how to get through life, when really life hasn't even begun. Right? And so so life begins one step out of your comfort zone. And so I challenge you to come up with a mantra that speaks to you, that really challenges you, and put it up somewhere, so that, and it can't be something that you're living right now. It has to be something that you're going to say, and it's going to remind you to push yourself. So I want to challenge you to kind of think of what your personal mantra is and have it be something that challenges you. So when it comes to mindset, there's about 4 or 5 kind of key elements that I think are super important when it comes to mindset, and especially when it comes to this business. So number 1, you need to leave your ego at the door. And I think this is incredibly important, because I have a team full of a lot of professionals, and I see this a lot. People come in, and honestly, guys, I don't care how much schooling you have. I don't care how much experience you have. If you've never done this type of business, which is network marketing, which is very, built on relationship building, where your number one skill has to be relationships and being able to talk to people and being able to have a relationship. If you've never had anything where you are, where so much you have to share yourself transparently, you have to grow yourself, you have to be savvy on social media, then guess what? You are a student again. And I took that to heart when I first started. I knew I had no clue. All I've ever known is medicine. That's all I've ever known. And I had no clue about any of this. But guess what? I wasn't saying, oh my goodness, I have no clue. I'm gonna be horrible at this. I'm gonna fail at this. No, I was just saying, oh my goodness, I have no clue what I'm doing. This is challenging. This is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting. This is going to keep me, just keep me excited and keep me going for years. Like, notice my mindset, right? Notice how I'm not saying, oh my goodness, let me stop because I'm going to fail. I'm saying, bring it on, right? I'm saying, let's go. This is going to take me years to master, and I'm okay with that. So realizing that you need to become a student again. And what that means is that you need to be coachable. You have Mandy on here. Mandy on here is your mama bear. She's your big, she is the person who knows the most. She's the one that's had the most experience. And so keeping that in mind, same thing with other leaders on your team, right? And so they're not telling you to do activities that because they want to take you away from your family, they're telling you activities that they know are needed and necessary for you to, in order for you to have success. And so be willing to be coachable and letting your ego and your guard down. And then along with that be willing to fail forward. I think a lot of coaches have a fear of failure. And I love failure. Why? Because failure is going to teach me what I need to change, right? So that I can be better. So that a year from now, I'm doing 10 times better than how I am now. That's all it is. All it is just some feedback, nothing more, nothing less. And I think a lot of people internalize failure, and they really feel like they are a failure. And that's not the case at all, right? Really, it's just that action didn't work. And all that really means is that action did not work right now. And it doesn't mean that it may not work later on in the future. There are things that I'm trying now that didn't work when I had a different team or different people on my team. I'm doing them now and they're working better now. And it's because I'm always looking to try things. I'm always looking to try things with the people I'm around. And it's because of this, that I have no fear of failure. And then in terms of also eco, it's being transparent and sharing you, right? I think this is a big thing that a lot of coaches struggle with. And there is a tribe out there for every single one of you. I honestly, 150% without a doubt, feel like that I am not competing with anyone. And I feel that 100%. Why? Because I know that my story is my story. I know that the people who are going to be attracted to me are going to be attracted to me because of my past, because of my current situation, because of who I am, because of my struggles. But guess what, guys? If you never share that, they're never going to find you, right? If you never share your history, if you never share your struggles, if you never share what's happened to you, how are people going to know you? I think so many coaches, they make their newsfeed this like Beachbody platform, and it's just like their Shakeology bottle, and it's just like them with their, with the workout, and like that's all you see, when you're so much more than that, right? You're so much more than just Beachbody. And I tell my coaches that all the time. Beachbody is such a small part of you. What more is there of you? And I love people who have messy backgrounds. I love people who have a messy past. Why? Because there is wisdom in there. There are lessons in there. You can take those lessons and take that wisdom and share it and shed light to inspire and motivate other people who maybe are going through those same type of situations right now. But if you are fearful and if you're selfish of keeping that in and not sharing that, you're not going to be able to have the impact that you want. And if you are a Beachbody coach, most people have come in because you want to help someone. Well, guess what? How are you going to help someone? By being you. And 100% your story is enough, but you have to embrace your story and you have to let your ego go and you have to be transparent and share you. You need to do your reps. So it takes 10,000 reps. We all know this, those of us who do personal development, it takes 10,000 reps before you master something. So when you are a brand new coach or you've been a coach for 6 months and you're working this business half, really not giving 100%, maybe 50%, maybe 70%, you better believe you're nowhere near your 10,000 reps. And so realizing that there's a lot of hard, unglamorous work behind the scenes that you're not seeing when you look and you're comparing yourself to other people. That's one thing that irks me, is when coaches come in or they're 6 months in, 7 months in, 2 weeks in, whatever they're in, and they're comparing themselves to someone else. And granted, I'm guilty of that. And we constantly have to be refocusing ourselves and putting the blinders on, but realizing that you're not seeing the work of other people and you're not seeing the sacrifice that Mandy's doing and that she's putting in. You're not seeing the sacrifice that I'm doing, that I'm putting in, how much work we're putting in behind the scenes. So that unseen steadfastness is us doing our reps. And for us in this business, our reps are the 4 vital behaviors every single day. Like literally, I have it capitalized because it's there for a reason every single day. I've been a coach now for almost, next month is, this in July is my 3-year anniversary, and I've never missed a day of showing up to my business, guys. Like, this is a business. This is not a hobby. I take this seriously. And realizing that if you don't take this seriously, if you don't respect your business enough to take it seriously and show up every single day, guess what? No one else is. And you cannot expect someone else to come in and have more respect for your business than you do. So take a look at yourself and ask yourself that question. How much respect do you have? And are you showing up to something that you said you were going to show up to? And thinking about this in a way as if you had invested $200,000, because that's how much a lot of franchises cost, to start up. A startup costs $200,000, showing up every single day to your business. And for us, social media is our business. Our Facebook, our Instagram, our challenge groups, that is our storefront. Those are our business. And when you're doing those reps and you're practicing, practice is so important, guys. You want to get as many no's. You want to get as many conversations going. You want to hear as many objections and rejections that you can, because that's going to only give you practice. You want to get yourself out there on video in your team page, practicing getting on video, jumping around before you get on before you get on video, so that you can have that high energy, because having energy is important. Like I said, I came in and I said, I'm tired, and I'm like yelling and screaming here because it's just important that, for me to get hyped up, to be able to, for you guys to feel my energy. So practice is so important. That's part of your reps. And then also the idea of delayed gratification. People ask me all the time as well, do you regret going to medical school? Heck no, because it has taught me an invaluable lesson, which is delayed gratification. I worked my butt off for 12 years, never guaranteeing that I was going to make it at the end, never guaranteeing that I was going to see that six-figure, check. And it was because I only kept believing in myself. And when I was deep in that tunnel, and I didn't see the light, like for many years, I could not see the end of this tunnel, but I was deep in it, just like you guys are. When you're building your business, those first 2-3 years of building your business, it's deep. That tunnel is dark, but you have to know and trust that there's light at the end, and know that if you're putting the sacrifice in now, it's so that you don't have to put the sacrifice in later. And so, like I said, I was working, using my medicine, for example, working, 70 hours a week, for 4 years. And then before that, all that time I put into studying for schooling. And now my job is 10 to 11 shifts a month, and that's 120 hours a month. So significantly different. And I make a lot of money because of that. But if I had not put in my time, I put in a lot of time. If I had not put in my time, it would not feel as good as it does now. And I've taken that same concept with this business, except that I know I don't have to work 12 years in order to have the success that I want. I'm going to have to work maybe 4 or 5 years of good, strong building momentum, because that's what it's going to take. So having that mindset, being realistic, right? Being realistic with your goals and setting that vision is incredibly important. You have to have discipline. I know right now I have my team reading Brian Tracy's No Excuses, is the personal development book that we're reading as a team right now. And it talks a lot about discipline. And they said, what's the number one thing that you think all successful people need? And it's discipline, because that is the ability to control. And I have the definition here. It's the ability to control one's impulses, your emotions, your desires, and behavior, being able to turn down immediate pleasure and instant gratification in favor of gaining that long-term satisfaction and fulfillment from achieving higher and more meaningful goals. Guys, this is, can you see me? Hello? I think I froze. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, awesome. So discipline. So it's basically, it's doing it even when you don't want to, right? Like I said, I honestly was going to start this call I actually recently had Christina Delgado on my call 2 weeks ago. And she started my call by saying, I do not want to be here. And she was like, but I'm here anyway. And it's like, I was tired and I'm here anyway because I made a commitment. And guess what? And I'm going to show up 150%. I'm going to show up with my heart, with my energy, because you guys deserve that. And because I have discipline in my business and I believe in showing up 100% to my commitments. So the same way that you have discipline in your fitness, you have to apply that discipline to your business. Belief. And this is incredibly important. I was reading in one of my personal development books, The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy, which is a fantastic book if you guys have not read it. It's a great leadership book, The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. I like really listening to it, but I do a lot of my PD in the car using Audible, but it's a fantastic book, gives you a lot of perspective. And he was saying, and I'm sure this is other places too, that 66% of entrepreneurs fail. And so knowing that, that's a really dim statistic. That means that's 30, that means only a small percentage are going to succeed. So that's what you're going up against. And he was saying that the reason why they fail has nothing to do with finances. It has everything to do with their mindset. It has everything to do with how quickly they give up when they hit that first obstacle, or when they hear that first rejection or objection, right? And so just kind of keeping that in mind, that if you don't believe in your business, like I was saying earlier, then why should others? And realizing that we attract people exactly like us. So if you don't have confidence in your business, you're not going to attract confident people. You're not going to attract people because they're going to see right through that. people are not stupid. They're going to see right through if you don't have that belief in yourself. And one thing that I tell people, which I think is incredibly humbling, is that I genuinely believe that in this business, because it's attraction marketing, that's what we do. We're attracting our team. You know, it's very rare that you will ever attract someone that's better than you. And so really think about that. So it doesn't mean that if you're someone that you have a lot of work to do that you can't, you know, but it just shows that if you have a lot of work to do, then delving into personal development is going to help you be able to attract that rock star team that you want later on. And really speaking and really thinking and really asking yourself, how much belief do you have? How much confidence do you have? Because if you don't have those things, it's going to be very difficult for you to attract those things. So confidence is important. And obviously, like I was saying, personal development needs to be the focus for that. And then the last thing I want to touch on, which I think is just super, super important, is that you need to have a mission and a vision that is personal to you. And this is important. This is why we talk about what is your why, right? Like, because it's so important that you are 100% sure why you're doing this and making it something that's personal to you. And when I look at successful coaches, I realize that they genuinely have figured out how does Beachbody connect them with a mission that speaks to their heart. And so what speaks to your heart? Why do you want to be successful? What does success look like to you? And when you have all the money in the world, you know, you don't have to worry about finances, your husband's home with you, you have all the time in the world, what would you be doing with your time? How would you be contributing? How would you be giving back? What are the things that you love doing? And just thinking about that, because realizing that Beachbody, all Beachbody is this business, it's a stepping stone so that you can create that freedom in your life, so that you can then open up your time, so that then you can do things that you truly are passionate about. And so I have a lot of girls on my team, for example, who love mission work. And they want to spend a lot of time doing mission work, giving back, going to Africa, going all over the world to do mission work. And I'm like, great, you need money for that. I'm sorry, you do. You need money. You can't just like go away for weeks at a time from a job that you work a 9 to 5. They're going to fire you. So you need that freedom and that flexibility. And so they're building their Beachbody business for that purpose. And they're connecting Beachbody, realizing that the more people that they can help here, it's only going to allow them to help more people in the future, you know, the way that they truly, genuinely want to help people. And then I always tell coaches, imagine that you had 100,000 people following your page every day. What's the message, what's the message that you would want, you would want people to get from when they come to your page? And so for me, obviously, I'm a physician, and yes, the fact that our mission as a company is to end the trend of obesity is really, really awesome. And it definitely does speak to me. And because what I have here is a map, and this was back in 2012. And those red states all represent where greater than 30% of the population is considered obese. And so this was back in 2012. That's a really scary statistic. And 1/3 of children are considered obese. And they're saying that by 2050, 50% of our population is going to be obese. And that is a problem, guys. That's a statistic that, honestly, I don't see any solution in, coming up besides it's going to have to come from the community. It's going to have to come from us. It's going to have to come from many people coming together to live healthier lifestyles, to encourage their loved ones to live healthier lifestyles, whatever your kind of reach is, really genuinely, because this is a huge problem. And so that's kind of my surface kind of mission. So I put here a picture of a guy, and you can see he's sitting down, looking really down, because a lot of times what comes hand in hand with obesity is poor self-esteem, right? It's poor self-esteem, it's depression. And so when I hear that by 2050, 50% of our population is going to be obese, I not only think of the physical complications of that and the physical consequences of that, but I think of the emotional consequences of that. I think of what happens when people are so depressed and they hate themselves so much, and they hate the way that they look, that is not a mind that is thriving, right? That's not a mind that's going to be able to go out and pursue the talents and the vision that God has placed in them, right? That is nowhere. They're going to be trapped. They're going to be trapped. And I see this every day when I go into work in the emergency room. Young women, beautiful young women that are trapped, young men that are absolutely trapped in their minds and they can't get past it, whether it's through anxiety, whether it's through depression. And a lot of it starts with how they look at themselves when they look in the mirror. And so when I think about what we do as coaches, I think our work is so great. I think that when someone comes to us and genuinely asks us for help and they purchase a challenge pack from us, that's the first step. That's the first step of a person saying, I'm worthy enough to invest in myself. I'm worthy enough to take this time to myself, to better myself. That's, just such a key element. And that's why challenge groups are so incredibly important in our business to help people get results. Because if we can start helping them with their confidence, then that's where I go in. And I really try to genuinely help them emotionally. I try to help them with personal development, giving them ideas, because this to me is the scary part. This is why I do this. I do this because I want to combat depression. I want to combat anxiety, and I want to empower women. And that is something that it really stirs me up every single time. And it's something that I can know that I would fight for till I die. Like, honestly, guys, this is something that I know that I'm super passionate about. And I want more women to feel as confident as I feel, to live a life that's abundant, that's full of joy. I want every woman to live like that. And so I will continue this work. Even if I wasn't a Beachbody coach, I would do this work. I would post. I would do this no matter what. So really finding how does Beachbody, connect to something that speaks to you is so incredibly important, because when this gets hard, because it gets hard, guys, it really messes with your mind. It really asks you, as so many times, how bad do you want this? There's ups and downs. When you hit a certain rank and you drop, when you have a star diamond on your team that leaves you, when you have coaches that you poured so much into you and that you poured so much into them and they stop doing anything, or they cancel on you, or they go MIA, like, you just got to keep pushing. You got to keep moving forward. And if you don't have a why that's deep enough, that means so much to you, it's going to be very difficult for you to push through those hard times, because they are going to come and they're going to keep coming. And you have to have a solid mission and a solid vision for yourself. And so every great dream begins with a dreamer. So always remember that, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. So this is a picture of my team. I love my team. And, and they're genuine. They're girls that I have come to love and get to know so much. And guys, honestly, the relationship aspect of this business is so incredibly, out of this world, honestly. And I tell coaches all the time, if you're not bringing in people because you're just afraid, like you're potentially, you're not allowing people to feel the positive, community that we have to offer as Team Beachbody, that I'm sure is within your team, that positive, supportive environment that honestly anyone could possibly benefit from. So think about that when you don't want to approach somebody, that you're potentially keeping them away from that positive energy, from people who are genuinely going to build them up and want to work with them and want to help them and want them to grow and be better. And so there are only two mistakes one can make along the road: not going all the way and not starting. So that's my challenge to you guys, is to get out of your own way and start. And I would add to that, to give 100% of, your efforts. Don't come into this giving 50% of your efforts. You have to come into this knowing that you're going to give 100% or more. Like I always say, 150% no matter what, and show up to your business. Because if no one else is going to do it, if you're not going to do it, I would say no one else is going to do it. So those are my questions. That's it. Any questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Stephanie?
And it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about this. I love questions. It could be about anything business related.
That was great though, Stephanie. Like, I mean, seriously, it was like you knew what our team needed to hear. We recently just need a reviving in personal development, and being committed to programs is what we've been focusing on, because we found that, a lot of coaches have lost that passion. And when we feel like when we lose that passion is we're not doing a program, we're not committed to a program from start to finish, to drinking psychology, to clean eating and personal development. I know for myself, when I'm lacking in my personal development, that mindset isn't where it needs to be. And for myself, I've really been focusing mainly on personal development more now, and it's a complete mindset shift, and it really does change everything. And I completely agree with you that that's the number one important thing, in this business. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, and I want you guys to, I mean, and that whole revival, that's happening all over the network. That's happening. So don't feel like, oh gosh, I suck as a coach, that I need to do this, that I'm like, I don't have the energy. Like, this is happening all over the network. And so it's the same thing in my team. We just started a revival group this week, and same basic principles, getting back to the basics, doing your workouts every single day, doing your 4 vital behaviors and nothing more, just sticking to the basics and getting back into that habit. And so absolutely, that's awesome that you guys are doing that. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Awesome. All right.
If no questions, then we thank you again for your energy and, getting our mindset pumped up, and so we can all, go off and do those vital behaviors and rock it out even when we hit those bumps in the road, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, Paula says she does have a question. Paula, you can unmute
Oh,
we can't hear you. Hold on.
One of the things you mentioned in your presentation was about self-confidence. Can you talk about how to improve that?
I would definitely say personal development and going to live events. I think it's incredibly important. Specific events like Danny Johnson, Tony Robbins, like really big, kind of personal development events. But the biggest thing is personal development. It's really kind of, because a lot of times the lack of confidence is rooted in something from your past. A lot of times it's rooted in possibly as deep as childhood, possibly as deep, and sometimes prior relationships, current relationships. So it's going to take a lot, and having grace with yourself, and having patience with yourself, and realizing that it's going to take work, and it's going to take a lot of honesty on your end, or whoever's going through it, to be willing to really genuinely look at yourself and really genuinely think, how is this mindset hurting me, right? Like the way that we think about ourselves has consequences, and, good and bad consequences. And so kind of thinking of yourself, thinking that if you stay in this mindset, what is your life going to look like 5 years from now? What is your life going to look like 10 years from now? Is it going to be worse? Is it going to be the same? And so really just genuinely being honest with yourself, and then delving into purposeful personal development. A lot of people will always ask, what's your favorite personal development book? And it's honestly whatever, you have to seek out titles that specifically speak to where you are needing that development. And so when I think of personal confidence, I think of The Gifts of Imperfection is a really good book. It's by Brené Brown. Anything by Brené Brown is incredibly amazing. She has done her PhD in shame, in the concept of shame. And so it's just, all of her books are incredibly powerful. But I personally love The Gifts of Imperfection because it talks about how being, imperfect is truly a gift. And so it's a very deep book, really makes you think. And then obviously the typical ones that I think about are kind of like You Are a Badass, and like other kind of just really empowering books for women. But really it's just kind of looking more into yourself, and kind of looking more into your past, maybe journaling, and then just making that commitment to want to move past that, to want to grow. And then again, like I said, events are super powerful. So.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?